Alright everyone, as you can already see from a lot of our videos this year, haven't had too many off-roading videos, a lot of review videos, a lot of install videos. So the reasoning behind that is we probably won't see the Outback much longer, at least this one. So we are on two so far on this channel. We have the 23 and the 24, and if you know what you're looking for, you'll be able to tell the difference in the videos. In the front down here, there's that little grill, fake grill on the 24s, and then on the 23s, it's just like three little dimples, similar to what's on the back bumper. But yeah, so we ended up the 23, of course, as some of you know and most might have seen. We actually ended up totaling that car out. Had a Tesla make a left-hand turn in front of us, hit it 50 mile an hour, and to be honest, it was amazing the way it held up. So that was kind of nice there. Made me decide that we should just go buy a 24. Bought the exact same color so that no one would really know that I had a new one. Didn't have to worry about all that explaining and whatnot. 24 was started out amazing. Got a few pictures if you're on the Facebook group or on the Facebook channel. And a couple of videos. I think I got one or two videos. Almost all of those install videos, I think, have come from this one. Of the review videos and whatnot, because yeah, I think so. I don't know. I'll have to look at that and see. But anyways, because the story behind this one now is it has been in the shop so far for 130 days plus or minus. We bought it in January, so yeah. I think I have owned it less than what it's been at the actual dealership, I feel. People at work don't seem to know which one's my real car and which one my loaner cars are. So there's always that, which is always fun. So we have been going through the lemon process. Kind of wanted to go through and do a video of explaining why you haven't seen many videos from this year and how this process worked. Have no issues with Subaru. Subaru makes a great car. Doesn't really matter what brand of car you prefer. All cars have lemons at some point. It's a mechanical piece, a mechanical vehicle. It's just bound to happen at some point, right? They have been amazing at handling it so far, going through the whole process. So kind of started out, we have on this card, just give you a heads up or a rundown on it. I have had 4 sway bars so far put onto the rear side of it. They keep basically just chucking out the bushings. They can't figure out why it won't keep the bushings in. That's been since almost, I think the first time it went in was around 230 miles. The car also has left us stranded a few times now. From basically if you put it into accessory mode to sit there and listen to music while you're waiting on somebody in the store, like we all have done, and these cars will last a really long time with the batteries that we have nowadays, that this car, after about 15 minutes, will completely go dead. Won't start, won't do anything. Put a jumper on it, fires right up and no problem. Whatever they do, they've tested the battery, they've tested the starting system, they can't figure out what causes it. I never had that issue with the 23. Was able to try to reproduce it and see what goes on, showed it to them, and no one still seems to know how. That's been in there since about the same time as the first time it went in, so we've been battling that. Also, I've had issues with the sunroof that would not automatically go to where it needed to. So you had to manually push the button and hold it to wherever you wanted, which isn't a problem. I'm not that lazy where I absolutely have to have those stops, I guess. Besides the fact it was a new car and I paid a good chunk of change for it. And 2, what we made was the biggest issue I was seeing with that problem is also on the closed section, because obviously if you go one way with these cars, if you have it, it will open the vent, which just pops it up on top. And if you go the other direction with the button, it actually pulls it down inside and slides it back so you have an actual open roof. When you don't know where that closed position is, it makes it very interesting to make sure you have it closed and sealed so that water won't get into the car. So that was my biggest issue with that one. Eyesight has stopped working randomly through the time. Not the normal, just a few times here when it's icy or the windshield's got snow on it or fog, or the others. Those, like eyesight, it runs by cameras. Pretty much if you can't see, it can't see. So, completely to be expected. But these are like perfectly amazing days at 80 degrees, 90 degrees outside, sunny, no issues whatsoever, and it just stops working, and it's not stopped working for a few minutes to a couple hours while you're driving, like it happens sometimes with those others. It just completely stops for weeks on end, and then it would come back, and then it would do it again. Once again, they weren't really able to figure out a problem besides the fact that it was low voltage. Same with the sunroof. They determined that it was low voltage what caused it, but couldn't figure out why, or told me that it was not having an issue with starting, although everything that was electrical having with it was always showing low voltage. Apparently low voltage was not an indicator that we should be looking at voltage on these things. So anyways, kind of went through that. It's been in the shop, I think, 5 times, 6 times now. The last time I just got it back. The last time it was in there for almost 2 months. During that process, I'm pretty sure that what was happening was that Subaru already knew it was going to go down that route. Because when I talked to the dealer basically told me they went in, they had to get a couple things, they had to do a couple tests on it. Once I talked to Subaru about it, Subaru said, do not touch it, put it in the lot, done. So I was able to get it back and go through, because the problem too is that they give you 3 options when you go through, which is kind of nice. You can either, 1, take a cash settlement out of this. I think my cash settlement was around $4,000, $5,000. Half that goes to your lawyer, so that's about $2,500 max that I got to keep. I still keeps the warranty on it. It still does the normal thing. But the downside, of course, to that scenario is I'm constantly running back to the dealership to get it fixed, because they'll still try to fix the issues. And if I'm having a car, and part of this thing was to be able to car camp, to go out overlanding, I can't really go off into the mountains by myself and have to worry about if I'm going to be able to start the car when I'm at 14,000 feet, 12,000 feet in the middle of the Rockies somewhere with no one in sight. So for me, that was not going to be an option because it just wasn't going to work. The other option they give you too is they give you the option of being able to get a second car. They match your MSRP, which is great. Problem with the MSRP is that there's no more 24s left on the lots. There's only 25s, and as most of you know, every year the cars go up. So I would have not been able to get basically the replacement of this car without having to throw some more money at it too. Not really an option of what I really wanted to do. Also have been told by my lawyer and a few others that the problem they have with that is whenever they know they have to give the car up, the dealership sometimes won't hold those cars for you, and they will sell them very quickly. Option number 3 on this thing was to basically just get a refund of everything I've put into it. So all of my warranties, all of my taxes, title, what I paid for the car, everything, and then I got a refund then the only thing they would deduct off the price, was whatever mileage I put onto it. Luckily, I've only put like 10,000 miles on this car since I've had it since January. So pretty low mileage car compared to the last one. The last one was at 19,000 miles when it was totaled. So in 11 months, we put 19,000 miles on it with all the stuff we did on the channel and plus others. And then this, we didn't get near that. So I'm going to take the second option. I'm going to go for the cash refund. The plan is, what do we do next? And that is a good question that we're still kind of figuring out, but I think I'm going to lean in a certain direction. So the idea, I think, we can go to other cars. And we did look at some other stuff. We were looking to switch maybe to a truck because the wife decided that we definitely are enjoying the off-roading a lot more than she thought. So we kind of looked at the ZR2 Bison, we looked at the Tacoma Trail Hunter, and we looked at the Ford Raptor, small Raptor, Ranger Raptor. And the downside with those is that, because the big trucks, when you start getting into like the full-size Raptors, the full-size ZR2s, and Toyota, I guess CRD Pro for the Tundra, they start getting to like $80,000, $90,000, and that's before we've added any of our overlanding stuff, right? So we're talking $100,000 plus into one of these trucks. Maybe we could afford it, maybe we couldn't, but at the same point, I'm looking at this going, that's just a lot of money into something that's depreciating every year and probably faster than normal as we're taking it off-road. So we looked at the smaller trucks. We figured the middle trucks were the way to go. These others, we started them, they're still $70,000 for one of those trucks, except for the Ford Ranger Raptor, surprisingly $58,000. I kind of like that one just because it was the cheapest of them all. It had the biggest back seat area, which was kind of nice for the kids. And let's face it, these cars can scoot. And the other two were really slow. Slower than this. And at least the Ranger Raptor, I think, was 0 to 60 in like 5-second range. This is, I think, 6.2 from what I've heard. So around the low 6 range. So I'm like, cool, it's a little faster than this. The downside with the truck is it has a back seat and a bed, which is great for hauling stuff. We have the dogs. And I wouldn't really want the dogs to... I didn't let them in this car, in the front part. We kept them in the back with a barrier. So the truck would be the same thing. We would put a topper on it, put them in the back. We could take the topper off periodically whenever we needed the topper off. But it kind of kills the idea of that. And then the dogs are stuck in the back. But the other big thing, too, is they have tiny little beds now. So besides, I think the Trail Hunter, you could get into a 6-foot bed if you could find it. All of the others come in like the little 5-foot bed, except for the Ford, which was actually less than 5 foot. But you can't really camp in the back of those beds. So you're not laying down, I'm not a very tall guy, I'm at 5'10". But I'm still not fitting in one of those beds. So even with a topper, I'm not going to have much luck with being able to camp in the back of it. Where this, I was able to lay the seats down, and I actually slept one night. I slept here in the garage because it was still in the middle of winter last year. Figured I'd give it a try. That video should be coming. I got to finish it up at some point. So those were kind of the things with the truck. They did come with the lift because most of those, that's what I was looking for, was I needed to keep the warranty on whatever we were getting, because that's the point of buying a brand new car, right? If you just a warranty, not have to worry about them. So I wasn't going to be able to lift them. I wasn't going to be able to add lockers. I wasn't going to be able to change any of those other things. So we needed a vehicle that would come straight from the factory with everything we needed. That's why I looked at those three vehicles, because everything else below them, the trims below them that are cheaper, didn't. They just didn't have the options that we needed. They didn't have lockers in there. They didn't have maybe the lift and the height and the ground clearance that we needed compared to this thing. So I wanted something to be this or more. Those all three are special trucks. So the other problem you have is dealerships charge a lot more for those and put a premium on top of those. So that was not a very good thing either. So anyway, so we're kind of figuring, I don't know if we're going to do that truck idea. We came in the idea of just doing another one of these. Kind of split between, do I want to do another silver one? Third time's a charm. Or should be third time is just that insanity thing, right? Where I should choose something different. I kind of like the white. I think my daughter and my wife don't like the white. I kind of like the green. My wife likes the green. My son doesn't like it, and my daughter thinks that it looks like poop. So if you have a green one, no offense. I kind of like the green. I wish it was more of an olive drab green, something a little bit more, so because when the sun hits it looks more goldish. But so we're kind of seeing, I mean, if you have an idea of some colors you think are better. I don't want the blue because we do off-road this, and I heard the blue scratch it super easy. I don't want the black for the same reason. I might take that, I don't know what they call it, but that charcoal color. We had it on the van before. It was pretty when it was, all clean and waxed and shiny. And the first time down the road in the snow, and we're in Colorado, so you get a lot of snow here, or in areas we're going, they just look like crap. That's what kind of went with the silver. My wife is different on cars than I am. She pretty much doesn't wash hers all winter long. I like to wash mine every nice day. My van looked way worse than hers, even though we were near the spring at the time, and she hadn't washed hers in a long time. So that's why I went with the silver. It also is a cooler color, so we'll see. I don't know if I want to do another silver one, if I want to change the color up. We're also looking at possibly, which might come to this channel, we'll see if we can get it through, is trying to find a Wagoneer. Wife kind of likes the Wagoneers. I like classic vehicles. We used to have a few. I've had a 69 Chevy C10 with a 327 and a 4-speed that was a patina truck and just slammed on the ground. Love that truck. Doesn't fit the family very well, so and Blazers are stupid priced. So ended up moving from there to a 72 Volkswagen Squareback. I do have another channel on that one because I actually did EJ22 Subaru swap on it. Amazing. But at the time we wanted to try something a little bit different. That thing was slammed on the ground once again, couldn't really overland it, couldn't really do much with it. So we ended up picking this up, so that our other old car picked one of these up. So now we're kind of looking at possibly doing a Wagoneer. If we do the Wagoneer, the idea is probably 4 inches of lift. We're thinking maybe 33s on it, plus or minus 31s, 35s, maybe we'll see from there. And LS will swap it for sure, which is amazing. Those guys have it so easy, they don't even know it. Having something you can just buy everything off the shelf versus having to fabricate all of your own engine mounts and everything wire harness, because there's nobody who does this. So we're kind of looking into that. If any of you have a lead on a good 75 and older, because we live in Colorado. Colorado is like the little baby California, which means we have emissions. And if you go to 75 and older, you're a classic vehicle and you don't have to worry about emissions. So I don't want to mess with that. It's an overlanding vehicle. It makes it cheap that way. Also, I can put classic car insurance on it. Makes it super cheap as a little play toy. And then this would be mostly our soft roader at that point. A little bit tougher, maybe trails. But not much more than that. Take it a little easier on this car now, or the next car, I guess. And then really push on the Wagoneer onto some places that we couldn't get with the Outback. So if that's something you guys would like to see, I know the channel's called Subaru Colorado. We'll still have a Subaru on the channel. But if you'd like to see that, comment down below also on that one. Let us know if you'd like to see some Wagoneer stuff or some Jeep or full-size vehicle of some sort on there. But that's kind of where we're at. Kind of going through, we'll see. I'm going to try to document maybe some more on this process and kind of go through so everyone, because I'm sure there's others out there that have had to do this. We went through, we had to pull all of the accessories off. We had to pull anything that you put on the car that you want back, then you take off. So I took skid plates, the light, the rack, the basket. The only thing I think I didn't take off was the window tint, because obviously I can't reuse that. The vent visors, because they're just easier to buy new ones than try to mess with these. I think, and the brake paint. So I'll be doing those 3 things again on the next car. And then everything else will just go right back onto the next car. But that's kind of what we've been. That's kind of why you haven't seen us much this year. We do have another video that I'll load of the one time we did get this car off the road. And it's kind of a cool treat because the wife got to drive it, that one there. So the video is a little nicer. It's not just from a dash cam setting on, or the GoPro setting on the dash. It's actually from outside the vehicle where I got to do some recording. So I can do some photography with it, some recording, some videography. So hopefully I'll have a video here before long with my wife here, and her talking about what her experience was. It was pretty much her first time. So thanks for joining us.